A deeper understanding of harmony is a deeper understanding of music. A deeper understanding of music makes a better musician. Printable tabs by becoming a Patreon. Links in the notes as well as the description. Subscribe if you like this kind of content. New Ukulele Wednesday and Saturday. Check the links in the description. You'll see my email there if you want some one-on-one lessons. And let's do this. Grab the ukulele, cha-cha-cha, brain, ta-cha-cha, and attention span. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And let's become better musicians. Let's take a look at the chromatic scale and let's start from there. C, flat second, second, flat third, third, fourth. Fourth is the only one that doesn't really have a flat fourth or a sharp fourth. Even though you will hear people say sharp fourth, that pertains to kind of pushing the fourth degree up. Flat fifth, fifth, flat sixth, sixth, flat seven, seven, and our octave. Now, would it be easier 1 through 12? Sure. But these intervals came along after, because it used to be just 7 notes. And then later on, we added notes to the piano, those black keys. That's why we have these ideas of flat thirds, etc. Now, all these intervals are relative to a root note because we have to establish where we're measuring from. You need a starting point. So the same thing if you're measuring distance, a foot or a meter needs a starting point before you know how long is a meter, okay? So today we're going to be building these chords, treating the C as our starting point. Let's start with a major chord. The formula for a major chord is a root, third, and fifth. This is what's known as a triad. A triad is a 3-note chord, and it is the basic diatonic chords. If you think of this key of C, for example, you have C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, then you have something called a B diminished, and then a C. Those are all 3-note chords or triads. So let's start with the major chord. The formula is a root, third, and fifth. We got some rain going. So we got a root. According to that chromatic scale, our third was the 4th fret, and our 5th was the 7th. So according to this formula, the major chord for C would be C, E, G. C, E, G. It checks out. Now with 4 strings, you can repeat any note. Technically, the root note should be the lowest frequency, but with the ukulele, we do a lot of these things called inversions. And that's a little complicated, so I'm not going to go too much into it. For right now, we're just aiming for all 3 chords. Well, let's check out the recipe for a minor chord, okay? So the minor chord would be C, and then we would have a flat third and a 5th. So the 5th is the same, the G, and the root is the same, the C. So we just need to find the flat third. The flat third, root, flat second, second, flat third. Flat third relative to C is an E flat. C minor, let's check it out. G's our 5th, check. E flat, flat third, check. G 5th, check. C. So that checks out. Well, what about, you ever heard of these chords called suspended chords? Suspended chords are also triads, but what they do is they move the third interval up or down. A suspended 4th, the recipe for the suspended 4th is root, 4th, 5th. So our root and our 5th continue to be the same. Well, what's the 4th? The 4th is our F note. Root, flat second, second, flat third, third, 4th. Okay, so let's look at that. C, F, G. C suspended 4. G, C, F, G. Here we have a C suspended 4. And it checks out, okay? Well, what about the recipe for a C suspended second? That would mean that the third interval, instead of getting pushed up, gets pushed down. And our formula here would be a root, second, and 5th. Again, we see root and 5th. You're probably seeing a pattern. That's why the note in the middle, the third, flat third or the suspended note is referred to as a guide tone because it's actually the note that determines what kind of chord we're going to be playing. So here we get root, second, fifth. Okay, so we have root, second, fifth. Do, 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 do. C, D, G. Let's check it out. G, D, G, C. A C suspended 2. Let's start to explore some of these extended chords. The first one we're going to look at is a C7. A C7 is also known as a dominant chord. A dominant chord has a flat 7 interval in it. Well, to be specific, a dominant chord has both a major third and a flat 7. So when we look at the intervals for a C7, we see we have a root, third, fifth, flat 7. Now we already know our root, our third, and our fifth from our C major, C, E, G. Our flat 7, if we go back to the chromatic scale, was way up here. Root, flat second, second, flat third, third, fourth, flat fifth, fifth, flat 6, 6, flat 7, B flat. Now, when you get way up here, it's actually easier to go backwards. Octave, 7, flat 7. So if we take our C major chord and we add a B flat to it, we get a C7. Let's see if it checks out. G, C, E, B flat, C7 chord. There are two kinds of 7 chords. The C7 happens over the 5th scale in the major key. So if we looked at C, C, D minor, E minor, F, G, it would be G7. The major 7 chord happens over the 1 and the 4 chord. So in the key of C, it would be C would be a C major 7, D minor, E minor, F. F would be a major 7, the 1 and the 4. So what's the formula or recipe for a C major 7? It's root, third, fifth, 7th. If our flat 7th was B flat, our 7th would be B. Let's see if it checks out. G, C, E, B, C major 7. The formula works. The formula works every time, everybody. So if you know the formula, you can build the chord. It's very good to know the formula for all the chords you play. So if you ever see a new chord in a new song that you don't know, take the time to understand the intervals, because that is the building block and the foundation for harmony. Understanding this stuff makes you a better musician. At 10 Thumbs, I don't want you to be a ukulele player. I want you to be a musician that plays ukulele. That's very important to me, and I hope it's very important to you. Okay, well, what about something like a C7 suspended 4? Is that even possible? Yes. What's the formula? Root, 4th, 5th, flat 7th. Root, 4th, 5th, flat 7. We've seen all these notes. We just haven't seen them in this order. Root would be C. We've seen our 4th would be F, 5th again would be G, and then the flat 7th again would be our B flat. C, our G, C, F, B flat, C7 suspended 4. How cool is that? And the C7, because it's a 5 chord, would be the 5 chord of the key of F. So I can do something like this. C7 suspended 4, C7, F. How cool is that? Two more chords, then I'm going to encourage you to go out and explore all the chords that you know and find all the formulas. We're going to look at something called a C add 9. Now 9 is a number that we haven't seen so far. If you want to know, now, okay. Octave would be 8, C to C. After that, you have flat 9, 9, flat 10, 10, 11, flat 12, 12, flat 13, 13, flat 14, 14. it just continues to go on. So instead of going from a C to a 2, you can go C to a 9. You're only going to use 9, 11, and 13. Okay, that's it. Now, if you want to know what those are, you simply subtract the number 7. 9 minus 7 equals 2. So if you want to know what a 9 is, it's equivalent to a 2. So a C add 9 would be a C chord. If we look at the formula, we get root, third, fifth, ninth. Okay, if we want to know what a ninth is, 7 minus 9 is 2. So 2 is a D note. That's how we figure that out. So a C add 9 would be a C, our third E, our fifth G, and our ninth, 9 minus 7, 2, a D. So we take a C chord and add a D note to it, we get a C add 9. Well, what about a C9? What's the difference between a C add 9 and a C9? A C9 doesn't simply add a ninth interval. A C9 is a dominant. And if we remember back to our C7, a dominant, 2 of the intervals that we need for a dominant are a third and a flat seventh. So the formula for a C9 would be root, third, fifth, flat seventh, and ninth. Well, that's 5 notes, but we only have 4 strings, so what do? In this case, if you have a chord that's over 4 notes, the 2 least important notes, one is the fifth interval, as we've seen that the fifth is in every single chord, so it really doesn't do much to define the sound. And believe it or not, the other one is the root. If you've noticed, all the chords that we've played have a C, meaning C really isn't that important to defining the sound. I know that sounds counterintuitive and a little crazy, but it's true. In addition to that, usually your bass player is just playing a root and a fifth. So the bass line will take care of that while you layer up the other sounds. So if the C add 9 is a root, a ninth, a third, a fifth, and a flat seventh, we get C, D, E, G, B flat, and C. What we're going to do is we're going to chop off that C note. This is our C ninth shape. Let's see what notes we have. B flat, our flat seventh, check. E, our third, check. G, our fifth, check, the least important. And D, our ninth, check. Cool. So we got our flat seventh and our third, the defining tonalities, and the ninth, the one that makes it the ninth, with the fifth being the least important. Go ahead and write down as many other chords that you can think of that weren't in this tutorial in the key of C, build them with the chromatic scale, and then try to build the chord shapes. Whatever chords you get, leave them in the comments below and let us know what we missed. And this, my friends, is how chords are created. Thank you. There was a guy in an orange bandana and he taught me how to build chords. Ever since that day I never got bored. I never ever ever got bored, 'cause now I'm a better musician. Better musician. Root, second, fifth, that's a suspended 2. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching to the very end of this tutorial. You specifically, not him, not her, you. I'm proud of you. Thank you so much. Catch you on the flip side. That's the other side, dark side of the moon. And until next time, have a lovely day and life is good. Take care. I'm feeling great today. I think I'm going to go for a walk, and I think I'm going to eat a chocolate bar, and I think I'm going to shred a random solo. Hasta la vista, baby.